Hi everyone, this is a new part of your favorite story. I want to wish everyone an enjoyable viewing experience. Lloyd stood on top of the building and ordered everyone to listen carefully to what he was going to say. He warned all the people that he was going to stop time for a whole year so that they could finish the building as soon as possible. People were shocked by the information they had just heard. Lloyd was a little upset that they didn't want to believe him, but also realized that it was a normal reaction to such information. Suddenly the absolute trust skill came into effect, and a man in the crowd started crying and shouting that Lloyd was all-powerful, and then all the people started shouting like crazy that there was no end to the main character's power. At that time, Xavier was looking at the crowd, which looked like real madmen and lunatics. At that time, Lloyd was enjoying himself to the fullest, while Xavier was worried about the people and their mental state. Lloyd applied his time-stopping skill, after which an area where time was stopped appeared. At that time, the main character's heart was covered in ice, and Lloyd felt a terrible pain and coldness in his chest. However, this did not prevent the protagonist from rejoicing, because now they would begin the construction of the pearl. The dam project was incredibly complicated, but through skill and persistence Lloyd was still able to design the structure. He envisioned what it would look like. He wanted to build a huge dam, and now the construction of the incredible Pearl of Truth project was about to begin. Lloyd rejoiced, for everything was going perfectly, and soon all his labors would pay off. Suddenly he heard the voice of the Dragon King telling Lloyd to come to him as soon as possible because the situation was urgent. He added that the pearl might not be built. Lloyd immediately burst from his seat and ran with all his might towards the dragon. He arrived at the site breathing hard, while the dragon said that his neck hurt terribly and asked him to massage it. Lloyd was only thinking about what could prevent them from building the Pearl of Truth. The Dragon King said the pain in his neck was an emergency as he could get angry and ruin everything. Lloyd was mad with anger. He was so worried, and this insolent Dragon King had done something like this. Lloyd approached the dragon. He was furious at what was happening. Lloyd was going to massage this dragon with all his might. Then the energy started to circulate strongly, and Lloyd started massaging, thinking about how dare the dragon distract him. Lloyd thought about killing the dragon, and put a lot of energy into it. He tried with all his might. At that time the dragon complained that Lloyd was stroking him, and asked him to be tougher. Lloyd was ready to burst at any second of his anger. He started to exert a lot more strength. It seemed like the infernal lord himself came out of hell to kill the dragon. While the dragon said that Lloyd was useless and couldn't even give a massage. Lloyd was very angry with the dragon. And suddenly he got a new skill, namely absolute ugliness, which had the effect that when seeing the guy's face everyone would only think about how ugly he was. The dragon spoke before Lloyd, who was trying to push his neck as hard as possible. He asked what the hero would do after he could outwit fate. The dragon asked what Lloyd would do with the Pearl of Truth, after which Lloyd said that he would simply destroy it, which aroused interest in the eyes of the Dragon King. Lloyd poured out his stress and said that the pearl could only bring him trouble, but that he wanted to live in peace. The dragon turned away as he fell under the effects of the skill Absolute Freak. The dragon was very happy that the Pearl of Truth could not be used for evil. The dragon thought Lloyd was a hopeless dreamer. The dragon said Lloyd could leave, and the hero was upset that he never heard the dragon scream. The system started to say that the hero had pushed his mana heart to the limit, which made Lloyd angry as he didn't know what that meant. The system also said that from now on Lloyd was a top-level sword expert, which struck the hero as misunderstanding. Dragon asked what happened to Lloyd while Lloyd hovered in incomprehension of this life. Suddenly, because the protagonist's senses sharpened, he felt great pain from the noise. He started to scream. The dragon did not understand what was happening. At that time the hero said that the Master Syndrome. The dragon congratulated Lloyd for advancing in strength, while Lloyd screamed with all his might from the pain. After that he could not move normally, because any noise hurt him. Lloyd was thinking about whether he should pump his mana heart, or whether he should keep the points just in case. Xavier wondered if Lloyd was suffering from Sword Master Syndrome now. Lloyd yelled for Xavier to shut up and not say anything, while Xavier began to smile and cheer a lot. Xavier, with a smile on his face, began to give instructions while Lloyd literally started to bleed from his ears. Lloyd lay on the floor in a bloody puddle while Xavier took great joy in tormenting the hero. Lloyd marveled that his eyesight was much better now. He could literally see everything in detail. They began their training, Xavier helping Lloyd adjust to the new sensations, and after a few months Lloyd stood with his trademark shovel and seemed to feel no discomfort. The dam and the Pearl of Truth were almost complete. Xavier asked how Lloyd was feeling, and it seemed he hadn't fully adapted yet. Xavier mocked Lloyd, and the latter was incredibly angry. Xavier had never looked so happy. Lloyd looked at Xavier with a mad look and said that they were still seeing how Xavier would feel when he was harassed by his employer. Suddenly Lloyd heard some kind of sacred chanting. Then he started to look at a very bright light. Before him arose some man in the sky. This person had huge wings and seemed to be moving towards Lloyd. Lloyd stood still and looked at this being. The angel introduced himself as an official of the heavens. His name was Raphael. He was the head of the inspection of the lower world. Lloyd was shocked to see the angel, while the angel took out a notebook and said that Lloyd should immediately stop building the pearl and destroy what he had already done. At that time Lloyd himself was shocked by the information he had just heard. All the people looked in the direction of the great being. They could not understand what was happening. They all stopped their work and only looked up at the sky, because the angel himself had come down to them. At that time the angel ordered to obey the sky and to stop building immediately. Lloyd began to shout that he was not going to stop and that it was not clear whether the angel was real or not. The angel asked if Lloyd could see his wings. What other creatures could have such wings than angels? Lloyd pointed to Xavier and said he had wings too. But he wasn't an angel. The angel noticed that Xavier did have an angelic face. Xavier was happy that his appearance was once again praised. But Lloyd became angry and said that he could not know for sure that it was the will of heaven, adding that he had worked very hard on this project. At that time, the angel silently folded his notebook, then began to move his hand. Then something at a great speed began to move in his direction. It turned out to be a huge hammer. A light appeared above the angel's head. Then it turned into a halo, which was supposed to be a proof that he was carrying the will of heaven. Lloyd was angry, and could not say anything. For in front of him now stood a real angel, who asked if people now believed him. People thought it was the legendary hammer of fate which was described in the scriptures. People were now sure that there was a real angel in front of them. At that time the angel said that the real name of the hammer is universal, and it serves for state affairs. Lloyd began to wonder why the pearl was not legal, and why they were building it on their land. Angel said it was an anomalous artifact that unlocked the secrets of the heavens, and at one point a great interracial war broke out over it, in which 4,370,000 people died, 27 million were injured, and the total losses were estimated at 72 trillion. Angel said that because of this, the structure was illegal and warned that if he refused, he would personally destroy it. Lloyd was outraged, whereupon he called the whole thing oppressive and said he intended to appeal. The angel said that appeals are accepted by prayer, and if the motives are sincere, they will consider it. He said that it is to ease the burdens of earthly life. Lloyd fell on his knees and began to pray for the salvation of his loved ones. He did not want to lose anyone else. While in heaven they were listening to all this nonsense, the face of one of the angels twisted, because the prayer was distorted. Then he instantly rejected the request. And the angel said that they rejected this prayer because it was not sincere. The angel said that the boys should destroy the structure. Lloyd said that he would never do that. The angel said that he would do it himself. Then he raised his hammer above his head, and at great speed he headed towards the structure. He flew very fast and was already near the pearl. At that time Lloyd started to shout that the angel should stop. Suddenly a green aura appeared near the angel. It turned out to be Xavier, who was going to stop the angel from destroying the structure. The angel aimed his hammer at Xavier, but Xavier managed to repel such a terrible attack. Because of fending off such an attack, a tremendous amount of energy was released. Lloyd was struck by a rush of pain as he was still reeling from the Sword Master syndrome. Xavier introduced himself and said that the angel was not welcome in their lands and asked him to leave the place. Xavier also warned with a mad look that if the angel did not leave, he would destroy him with his own hands. The angel was shocked at such words, a mere mortal daring to say something like that. At that time, the dragon was heading towards the incident at all speeds. He looked up at the sky and saw two Fikras. He was shocked that the angel himself had come to them. He realized that as soon as the angel took the hammer in his hands, he was ready to destroy everything around him. The dragon was incredibly angry and was going to team up with Xavier in a battle against this creature. The Dragon King told him to calm down as heaven, hell and dragons should not harm each other, as there would be a war that would most likely destroy the entire planet. The dragon said that peace would only work if they turned a blind eye to small incidents. The creature asked what kind of person would think that way. Lloyd at that time was commanding people to leave the place as soon as possible. The angel warned Xavier to leave, as failure to leave would be seen as treachery and he would be destroyed. Xavier said that each of them must be loyal to their cause, whereupon the angel instantly attacked. Xavier was able to dodge this swift attack. Lloyd was shocked at how tough Xavier had become, while Xavier was behind the angel's back, throwing a punch that could have ended the Supreme Being's life right now. Suddenly the angel's halo began its movement, and then it repelled Xavier's attack. Lloyd agonized over the pain caused by this noise, while Xavier was not going to give up. He continued a series of powerful attacks towards this opponent, but the angel, with the help of his halo, easily repelled every attack directed towards him. Xavier didn't understand how he could win in this unequal battle. At that time, the angel began to say that it was not too late. He said that Xavier could still stop and obey the will of the sky. Lloyd told Xavier that there was about to be a simultaneous attack and ordered him to cover his ears. Lloyd, like a mad demon, started sucking huge streams of air into his lungs. And that's it, guys. If you want to see the next part as soon as possible, then please write something in the comments and put a like. Thank you all so much for your support. Good luck, everyone. Bye-bye, everyone.
날 보고 있으면 my game, baby. 너를 위한 melody, yeah. 네가 뮤지니까 잘 들어봐, play it.